All right, so today the housemates had a guest, and it was, mental health day. Try to talk about your mental health. Mental health is a very good exercise that we often overlook in our part of the world. So they invited a renowned clinical psychologist, Seth Mawusi Asafo. Yes, Seth Mawusi Asafo is a renowned clinical psychologist. He was invited to come and then have a conversation with the housemates. The changes, what are they struggling to adapt and all that. I think that it was a good exercise, that a lot of things came up that I might not be able to update you on all of them, because I don't want it to seem like I am picking on one housemate. But you see, the bad news that is coming from their camp is too many, so sometimes I have to overlook some of the things that happened at the session with the clinical psychologist. So I'll play the video for you to see what the housemates talked about, the exercises they did during the session and all that. We will go through all of them for you to see how the exercise went. This is Loyalty TV Studios. Subscribe, like, share, and put us on post notification.
The emotion.
Sad.
Sad?
Yes.
Okay.
No, he's angry.
Is he? He looks How about we make it a bit more interesting? You're going to attempt to do a facial expression, and then we're all going to see if we can tell what you're feeling. I'm no longer going to say it. So, we've had Ajwa Black.
Hi.
Yes. Give me a facial expression. Let's see if we can all tell what you're feeling. Only a few people can see it. Alright. Okay, so who wants to take a crack at that? Yes, Perry.
Stressed out.
Stressed out.
You can't see it.
Okay, please get up for us so we can see.
Sad. Someone is annoying her. Sad.
Okay. Yes.
She's nervous.
She's nervous. So someone's annoying her. She's nervous. She's sad. Okay. What were you going for?
Me,
Yes.
what she said.
She's
Nervous. Okay. Kiki, give me a facial expression.
sad.
No, angry.
Upset.
Angry.
He's upset.
She says no. Are you
I'm upset
you're upset?
Wow.
because I'm frowning.
Oh
Interesting. Your facial expressions are very diplomatic, they're kind of held back. Okay, I'm going to do a facial expression.
Sure.
See how easy it is for everyone to pick it up. How about
Annoying.
Disgusting. Ew.
disgusted? But your angry expressions are, they're so,
Calm.
Relax.
yeah, like, anyway. So since you've been here, you've had many different emotions, but all those emotions have a certain thought behind them. And I want us to be able to identify those thoughts. Now, the reason this is important is in human interactions as well as in relationships, one of the ghosts that affects any relationship is the emotions. And these emotions usually are in the background and they are causing their chaos. But what we tend to do is we focus on what is happening rather than the root cause. So I might be having a terrible day and I might be displacing on other people. Now, displacement is one of the ways that we prevent ourselves from feeling a certain emotion by assuming that it's somebody else's fault, or that we spend the emotion on those people. And I always make this joke about how in the past, if your dad or your mom was getting their salary close to the end of the month, they didn't smile at home. And the least thing, they were upset. Why? Because if they smile too much, you're going to come up to them and say, I need this and I need that. But they used to basically spend the energies that were negative at work on their children. Now, who can identify an emotion that they had been feeling, except that they didn't know what was causing that emotion? Nigel.
Yeah. Okay. So, I don't know about, the first time I was upset here, it was probably because of food.
Because of food?
Yeah.
A hungry man.
I love to eat. And, I mean, I wasn't getting what I wanted to eat. So that was my first sort of like outburst. So I didn't burst out in front of everybody, but I burst out in my room. I was so angry. I said a lot of things. And yeah, so that was the first time. That's what I can remember. Yeah.
So you had a way of coping with those emotions?
Yeah, I think.
It was more individual in your room.
Yeah.
Let me ask, why didn't you like express it with your mates here?
Yeah, because I didn't want to be the one who is like complaining about stuff. Like, I didn't want to seem like I'm better than everybody. Like, everybody's eating the same food and no one is complaining. So why am I complaining?
Okay, did anyone else want to complain about the food? Zero.
Yes, a lot. A lot of us, because the truth is we are a lot. You understand? And
Yeah.
sometimes somebody can get a big piece of chicken. You can get wings the whole week. You know, so it's normal. So I know some of them wouldn't want to say it, but it's normal. A lot of us have experienced that feeling, and that's the truth. Yeah.
And so at the back of that emotion you're feeling is a certain thought. What thought is that?
Why am I not getting this and somebody else is getting this?
So you're feeling that it's unfair.
Yes. So
Will that capture the essence? That it's like it's an unfair treatment, or that you're being maybe targeted, or that there's some selection bias in there. Is that how you feel?
Yeah.
Now, you see, the interesting thing is that actually the reality? Is that actually the reality, or is just coincidental? It's the reality. So it's not coincidental. Okay. I'll proceed. Larissa, do you think same?
It depends. It's 50-50.
Tell me more about 50-50.
So you're asking if it was like, what did you ask again?
If it's coincidental, or you think it's actually intentional?
Sometimes it's coincidental or intentional. That's why I'm saying 50-50. Because maybe, you see, when they bring us stuff, it's not all the, let me use the proteins. It's not all the proteins that are equal sizes. So maybe one person gets a very huge portion and the other one is not as huge as the other one. It's normal. So that's coincidental, not like, yeah.
I feel like it's coincidental. I don't think it's intentional.
Okay, you think it's coincidental. Okay, Bogdan, tell me, why do you...
To be honest, like I agree with both of us. It's very, very coincidental, but it happens.
Okay.
You understand? It always happens, and when it happens, the person who receives the smaller portion still receives the smaller portion. It's not intentional, but they still get it. You understand? Yeah.
You see, it brings me to a very integral part of any human interaction, expectations.
Okay.
And who doesn't have expectations?
Nobody.
Now, usually when people's expectations are not met, what happens?
You become disappointed.
And what does disappointment do?
Sadness.
Not entirely. When people are feeling that they are being untreated fairly, it's not just sadness, but it's some form of anger.
Yeah.
So we normally call it frustration. And frustration usually leads to anger. We call it the frustration and then aggression link to some extent. Now, the reason I want us to look at this more in depth is it could be coincidental, it could be intentional. We're not sure. And the fact that we're not sure means that reacting to either of them, I mean, one can give us the path of least resistance, and the other could actually create chaos. But this happens in many relationships, whether it's romantic or we have expectations, and when these expectations aren't met, we usually explain it in a certain context. Except, without understanding the real context of what's happening, our judgments could be very wrong. Now, I make this joke, and I say it because it really happened. I hate people cutting me off in traffic. Because the first thing comes to my mind is, oh, they think they are better than me, or they think they have a better car, or they think they can speed more than I can. So usually when someone cuts me off, that was in the past, what I do is to gently cut them off again. And sometimes I'll cut you off and in fact stop in front of you, like just to show that, I mean, one day I tried, but when I got out of my car and the guy got out, he was like 3 times my height. So then I started, oh boss, the usual. But the reality is this. One day, my stomach was hurting and I needed to desperately get home. And I cut so many people in traffic. And when I finally got home, I realized, so is it possible that when other people were cutting you off, they probably were going through a similar thing? Now, do you notice that it's the same scenario, but the emotions that come from the different appraisals or explanations is very different? Do you notice it?
Yeah.
And that's the basis of why it's important to understand what you are feeling. Because if you don't know, you usually will act upon it. Now, the human mind recognizes emotions faster than it recognizes words. And so when someone's trying to talk to you and they are smiling, the first thing you notice about their smile is, because they are smiling, they probably like me. They have good intentions for me. If someone frowns, you stop at they are frowning. Evil. Because of that particular challenge, many relationships struggle simply because emotions are being put out there without us being able to either recognize or be aware of them. So we're not recognizing the emotion in someone else, or we're not aware of what we are feeling. So today, I want us to be real with our emotions, about how we're really feeling about being here. And there's something that you're struggling with. I said we're in problem solving. Everybody's got to bring something that we can all deal with very quickly. I know we don't have too much time, but we have a few words that can help everyone realign the way they're thinking about what happens. Now, I'll give you this perspective. We are what we think. And when we think something, it seems so real. It's like it's true, even though it's not. And if you doubt me, go and watch a horror movie. You feel fear, even though you know it's a movie. Or even sometimes, you watch a really emotional movie and you cry because your actor but it's not real and you know it, but you still are expressing or feeling that emotion. So at the back of it is that the brain is very primitive when it comes to the way it recognizes and explains what you are feeling. And it can make it so real that you act upon it even though it's not factual. So now we're going to go around again. What is something that perhaps you're struggling with that we can look at? And say we'll start from, I think, okay, so you go first and then I'll come back to
Me?
Perry, yes.
Oh, Perry.
No, you go first, ladies
Okay.
first.
So I think one thing I'm really struggling with is understanding everybody.
Okay.
Not like entirely everybody, but that's one thing that I'm finding very difficult to do. And then they understanding me. Because mostly when I'm like talking to people, I say things but I don't mean them. But because they don't really know me, they might think I actually mean it. Like, do you get? And then they as well, like, it's hard to understand somebody because he says something and I don't know how to explain it, but...
Do you have an example of something that happened, that we can all use?
Not really an example, but something happened between Blanco and I.
Yeah.
So it was about food as well. So I burst out because I was mad about the situation. Blanco used to be like all over me, like Larissa. So there was this day that we prepared Blanco and Oko soup. And I dished it for everybody. I had some small portion left. And he took it out of the pot to eat. But then he put some peas back in the pot. So I turned and I noticed and I got angry. Because I'm like, if you need anything, the first thing you have to do is to ask before you actually take the thing. So I got angry and I was like, sometimes you ask acts like you don't reason. And he got mad because he said I disrespected him. But later we settled the issue by me apologizing. But I didn't really mean it, but it was because like I was angry. But he felt like I actually said it, so like that's what I meant. So
Blanco, what's your perspective on that?
I think she also didn't understand me, and initially I thought she had dished her food, so there was extra in the pot. I thought it was for nobody, and I just took a piece of it and I went for another one. So when she started getting angry, I was wondering, I said, like, I'm innocent, I didn't know. So I didn't know why she was talking like that. Because of that, I couldn't even eat the one I dished. And I really felt bad that I couldn't even ask her. And I was...
All right, so that was the exercise with, Seth Mawusi Asafo. Yes, Seth Mawusi Asafo is a clinical psychologist, and if you are going through any difficulties, you need to open up. Like I said, in our part of the world, we tend to play with mental health. So a lot of people are stressed. Like, and you see, in this world, you have to find what works for you. Like for me, mine is movies. Mine is music. Like as for music, it is when I'm working, writing, walking, taking a walk, when I'm in a car and all that. But when I'm by myself, when I'm in the house, my way of processing things is through movies. So I am mostly lonely when I don't have new movies to watch or interesting movies to watch. But if I have movies to watch, I can relax my mind, I can process things better when I'm alone. I even forget about my problems when I have an interesting movie to watch. Like, I easily forget about all my troubles. So every Friday, if I'm not seeing enough movies on Netflix, I try my best to, download new movies that can last me for the entire week. And I like series a lot, so I can download like 3 different series for a weekend, like 3 different series for a weekend, and football will fill in and all that. So it helps me. Like, we need to try and then be taking some of these things seriously. And I really enjoyed today's episode with Mawusi. Yes, yeah, I really enjoyed the episode with him. I hope you also did, but I can't, go into a detail, like give you specifics, because Charlie, the issues raised, it was plenty.
Etoda, Oshedan bi omode light aye no wonran bi si ho a na bi sample say electrician no tua ne kade kai say about domestic installation, industrial installation, commercial installation, solar panel installation, security camera installation, electrical fencing. Company papa omoye ne simple na ye fe a simple way electrical engineering. Omo board da form about down ho wiring nyina omoye ni nyina ma kama sia kakra bi ni nye adwuma ne ma o ye din the simple way electrical engineering. Francis here 0249 607839 and 0266 560669. Your Doko Pacific Oil Pair. Simple way electrical engineering. You big you mama ni ye fair.